Hey, welcome. Hello, and welcome to my Moon Power Musings. Thank you for joining us. Today, we are joined by Debs Stanley, who is a womb medicine woman. And we're going to be diving into quantum womb healing. We're going to be diving into the 9 gateways of the womb and having an all-encompassing, delicious womb conversation. And I literally cannot wait. I'm so excited. Debs, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really honored to be with you.
Total pleasure. Really gorgeous to be here with you, Chloe. Really excited.
Yay. And so, Debs, will you give us a little overview into the work that you offer and how you got into it? And I feel that with the womb work, it's such a calling for each woman, how we get into it and what brings us in. And I would so love to hear like how your journey has been to get to this point.
Yeah, sure. When you say that, Chloe, actually, I'm realizing, for so many people, there's quite a thing that is part of their her story
Mm,
that kind of that 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 allows them to really go to a shadow place and rebirth themselves. So there's like an Anana journey that they take, or a Selkie tail journey of homecoming that calls them with womb awakening. And for me, it was almost like trickster energy, just was like, you just come in the side door here and we'll work that bit out later, because I didn't have a fertility story or a sexual abuse story or a endometriosis story, or it was like I had pretty kind of like easy cycles, fertility, birth, all of it was pretty kind of standard. And it was just that I had a great friend called Saren Bertrand who started doing some stuff and kept saying, come on, join us. I was living off grid in this woodland. And I think I was having my own initiation with Mother Nature by living through the seasons and
mm,
recognizing that previously the old Debs would have just avoided at all costs the deep yin of winter,
mm.
rest, and the feminine essence of that. I would have gone abroad. I would be out in Argentina setting up retreats and doing other things, but living through the seasons and birthing my children off grid and living that lifestyle and becoming a mother, I guess, was just this initiation that opened up the doorways to something else. And a dear friend at the time was starting to kind of do some training with Red School, and that went on, and she did lots of different trainings, but one of the pieces was really around holding women's circles, and I went to one of her women's circles, and I think by this stage I was doing my womb awakening apprenticeship, which was like a 9 moon feminine mystery school.
Mm.
And back in those days, it was back in sort of 2014, there wasn't Zoom, and it was a very different program, I guess. And and I couldn't access a lot of it because we had rubbish Wi-Fi. I was up to my eyeballs in tiny children and chopping wood and just getting through the day in those kind of like, you're in the trenches, aren't you, in that early stage of motherhood. Um, and there was no kind of like map for doing it off grid and the way that we were. So um, yeah, anyway, my friend Louise Press, who works with girls circles and things, she's an amazing woman. She invited me to this circle of hers and showed the film The Things We Don't Talk About. And
Mm.
I had, worked with women, solely women, as a Buddhist, holding space for women since I was 28. And there I was in my 40s, and I'd never looked at this piece around menstruation and menarche. And it was like this kind of, all I can describe it as a yogi. It was like this kundalini awakening
Mm.
of like, holy cow. There was something like electricity that went through my body. And I think part of it for me, and this is where I came in to the whole piece, was around, there was something that I had been totally in denial about holding space for women, and it
Mm.
being about women and women's empowerment in some way. And I recognize now that there was a deep-seated fear that stems from a witch wound that goes back
Mhm.
13 generations in my line, of like, it's not safe to hold
Mm.
space for women. It's
Mm.
not safe to be in your feminine power. It's not safe to be in your magic as a woman. And there was something through watching this film and recognizing that I had this big calling to work with women and name it and claim it. Even though I was doing women's retreats and whatever, it was like there was a different piece, and it wasn't about the warrior Debs who would just be like blasting through. It was about coming home to this, I guess, what had previously been and was collectively this barren wasteland, Chloe, of like
Mm.
this divorce from here, to below, this feminine crown, this womb space, this Shakti energy, and all the gifts that womb holds. And there was this total fear, and it had been imprinted again and again in my life, a patriarchal family, don't cry, don't feel your feelings, just sort of
Mhm.
buckle up and get on with it. Boarding school, eating shame for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, at a Catholic convent,
Yeah.
just that, shown videos of abortion, aged 14. That was my kind of
Yeah.
menstruation,
Yeah.
my menarche initiation. It was just like, oh my God. So there was a lot of, yeah, there was a lot of work to do, I think, to break down those walls, to be able to weave and plant the rose garden in my own womb, and in my own relationship to the feminine, and rather seeing her as weak,
Mm.
or something that was seen as lazy or weak or didn't get you places or was an indulgence, was like, okay, this is actually vital to the cycle of life, to be able
Mm.
to winterize, to be able to compost, to be able to be in the death space, to be able to be comfortable with that, and to be able to rebirth yourself from that place, and to allow yourself to give yourself permission to rest without feeling guilty, without feeling like you're going to be judged. And also to be able to step into my power, I guess. By then I was kind of stepping into my perimenopausal, stage of life. I had quite an early menopause at 47. And it was about sort of really claiming that space for myself, and stepping in and naming it, and being in my power without that fear of the pitchforks coming to kind of like
Mhm.
garrot me and annihilate me and take me out, or being cast out of my clan. So there were these weavings that kind of just happened, I guess, in that portal. And so the womb awakening was a massive part of it. Living off grid through the seasons was a big part of it. And then this sort of, it's safe to do this work now, was a
Mm.
big part of it. And in a way, I guess, because my stories weren't about, some of those other deep issues that women can experience, that allow them, if they go there, to transform
Yeah.
that for themselves and their lineage. For me, if I could kind of put it in a nutshell, which you can't with womb, can you? You can't put
No,
anything in
it's
a nutshell with
impossible.
womb. It's not possible. But I guess it was really about how I had suppressed my feminine,
Mm.
how women have been conditioned to suppress their feminine power, and just really stepping into sacred feminine leadership in my queen codes, not with the what I would previously have thought of as a queen, as like a hard-hearted, boss babe, but actually as that magnetic, soft, feminine leadership, a very different design. And that it was okay to step out and expand beyond, my comfort zone. I used to kind of have this straw bale goddess temple and no website, and it was just like all very undercover, and just hiding my light, really. But actually, yeah, to be out as a womb shaman, and even name myself that. I mean, before I would say those words and I would cringe. So it was a coming out on all levels, I'd
Oh,
say. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, amazing. I just got so many chills as you were speaking.
I love
Oh,
it.
wow, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And what was your womb awakening like, your personal womb awakening? Like, how, what did you experience?
Um, in a way, I look at that time and it was quite a blur of
Mm.
mothering and the womb awakening piece, and And at that time, you know, with the kid's dad, I was trying to sort of like step into my feminine, but it was like Oberon and Titania. So we were like always at loggerheads. And it was me learning, which took some time and unpicking, to be able to actually just be in my feminine, but not have to step into the boxing ring and meet the
Mm-hmm.
masculine where the masculine is at and put my armor on and be the Boudica.
Mm-hmm.
And so my womb awakening, I would say, was like, it was like, at times it felt like I was in the boil wash. At times I felt like nothing was happening, but it was something that has evolved. And, you know, almost 6 years after the last sort of round of the apprenticeship with Sarah and Nazra Bertrand, it was called the Nine Moon apprenticeship. Almost like 6 years after that, I birthed my what had been sitting and brewing in my own cauldron post menopause, post leaving a toxic relationship, post claiming my own feminine power, and
Mm-hmm.
being a bit kind of more able to exhale in the mothering department because my children are older now. But in essence, I think, Chloe, what I really feel womb awakening gave me was this rose garden in what had been a barren wasteland, this deep reclamation of the cycles,
Yeah.
and not just knowing it and trying to map that, you know, and onto my menstrual cycles, which were getting all really wonky anyway with perimenopause, but actually living it, you know, with the earth seasons. That had always been a passion of mine, but it was almost like I could have an an earth rooted womb conscious activation that went with that. So it was almost like I really felt myself plugged into Gaia's womb.
Yeah.
I really felt that what I was, um, in my little corner of the tapestry, lifting up my thread, what I was healing was not just healing my matrilineal line, or maybe, you know, and for my children, and maybe a little bit out sideways, but actually it was like I was embodying something that then allowed my relationship to Gaia to have a deeper weave to it,
Mm.
because as a being of light, that when I cleared up some of those patterns, my womb awakening journey allowed me to hold a different frequency that then almost like just naturally started to flow into the earth grids.
Yeah.
It was almost like my awakening was Gaia's awakening, and her awakening was my
Mm.
awakening. So it was like I felt myself, instead of I think a big piece of my womb awakening was around that sort of the rebirth, which we're actually doing in the apprenticeship at this time. We're recording this for my year-long program, but it was almost like feeling like I'm not from, maybe I am from out there, but
Yeah.
I really felt myself earthside. I felt
Mm.
myself claimed as a daughter of earth. So it was very much my being in right relationship with earth.
Mm.
That piece. There was the rose garden piece about the softness and the self-care and kind of coming home to myself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm passionate about the selkie tail. You know, for me, that's like that's my journey. I lived it. But also this Shakti, you know,
Mm-hmm.
everything in my life started to, by process of osmosis. It wasn't like I was like, right, well, I need to do it this way. It just started to evolve in that way. But everything got like red washed, you could say, with Shakti. It was Shakti. It came through my yoga classes, through red tents, through, you know, women's circles, through everything. It was like that sort of like more masculine, got to do it this way and burn out and be exhausted. It was like,
Mm.
no, we just drop in and we see how we feel, and we have the banks of the river and that's holding us, but the feminine can flow, and she's alive and electric and beautiful and magnetic and sexy and delicious. And you know, there was that energy that sort of that had full permission to shine its light. Yeah.
Oh my God, beautiful. Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah. I feel like that with the womb awakening journey, there's so many layers to it, and it's so rich, and it's like an ever unfolding as well. And every time, like, my experience of it is every time I think I've sort of like got something sussed a bit, it's like, ah, no. And then there's another like kind of layer to it. And for me, it's also so visceral. Like when when I have that connection, like womb to the womb of the earth, it's not like a mind, I think my womb's connected to the womb of the earth. It is a full body feeling. It is like my womb is vibrating. I feel her energy come into my womb space, and it's like, oh my God. And the nourishment is so incredible as well. And what I find also is the second like I offer to earth as a thank you, as for her support holding me, it's like she just gives back like tenfold in like the next breath. It's not even the next breath, it's like vroom, vroom, you know. And
It's
there's
amazing.
so much available to us. And and I think like this is a big piece that so many have forgotten about, is like how to charge ourselves up, like how to actually plug ourselves in. And we have this ability the whole time, like through our wombs, to connect to earth, to receive, to be nourished, to be restored. And it's just that remembrance of that piece as well. So I feel that's been a really big part of my journey too.
I
Mm.
love that, Chloe. And you know, just as you say, it's that it's almost like when you make time for her and you bring her in, you invite her in, it's like she's like, I just needed permission, you know.
Yeah.
She's there. I mean, sometimes she will kind of like grab you by the short and curlies and go, wake
Mm-hmm.
up, you know, sister, we've got to do this piece here. And sometimes in not very pleasant ways, you know, that you kind
Mm.
of get those wake up calls. But when we actually sort of spend time communing with, you know, meditating, going into and connecting with her and you know, as we do in my work, we connect down into the core of the earth, into Gaia's womb, and up into the cosmic womb. So it's like you're
Yeah.
holding this trinity. It's like
Yeah.
this infinity self, and then this very earth rooted self.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like she's so chatty, she's got so much to say, and you, it's almost like you just kind of can relax because you don't have to keep looking outside for those answers. You just give yourself permission and you do the practices and you use the kind of, you know, the ways that you can work with womb to access that medicine. And it's like you're sorted, you've got it.
Oh my God, my womb just did a just in that
You know,
conversation.
it's so funny when I'm on tacti calls with women who are kind of applying to work with me in some way. Some of them are sitting there going, "My womb's just doing flip flops." You know, it's like
I know.
she's got so much to say. Yeah, it's
Totally. I
amazing.
know. It's amazing, isn't it? I was holding a womb session. This was a while back. And then afterwards I finished up and went downstairs, and my sister was in the kitchen, and she came and gave me a hug. And she was like, "Whoa, what did you just do?" She's like, "I can really feel that in my womb." And I was like, "I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything." But it's just the transmission happens sometimes. And it's like not even, it's not like a thinking thing. Like I could be in conversation with someone and they come up and I'm like, "Oh, my womb's got to work already." And it's not even like it just happens. It's
It
like
is.
the womb
It
just like
absolutely is.
it's like
Yeah.
she wants to update or something. It's
Yeah.
like a it just feels like information exchange. It's like and I'm like,
And it
okay.
feels like, you know, womb has become so sort of demonized as this vessel of fear and pain.
Mm, mm,
And these rites of passage have been so dishonored. And we have obviously inherited, you know, whole lineages of this fear and shame and
yeah.
pain that the womb holds. So when she gets this sort of tending to be able to restore her to her pristine, you know, primordial
Yeah.
ancient wisdom and
Mm,
immaculate, you know, sacred temple as she can be with these, especially with these 9 sacred portals of the womb, the gifts that are available to you are so powerful and so incredible to embody.
mm,
It's like she's just like a parched, you know, she's so thirsty
yeah.
for women to claim that back. So I think, you know, as you say, it's like it's a transmission piece. You know, if a woman is holding an enshaktied womb
Mm-hmm.
space and working consciously with her womb and with her cycles and clearing the old debris of all the ancestral lineage, it's like other wombs coming into connection with her. It's almost like how we work with brains. It's like the limbic system goes, oh, there's a, if you're deregulated and there's a regulated brain, you just kind of go, all right, that's my landing pad.
Yeah.
This is the same with womb. It's like there's like a network of womb mycelia that just
Yeah.
sort of go out, and roots, and antennae, and it's like it's like she can find her north pointing star and go, okay, that's where I'm docking, that's where
Mhm,
I'm orientating towards.
mhm,
And I
mm,
think my gift is transmission. So really it's that calls people. And when you can
mhm.
ask people, how did they find me, and you probably find the same thing, Chloe. It's like people are like, I don't even know, it was like this, and it was this, and it was
Oh,
this,
I
but
know.
ultimately it's womb. It's womb is kind of
Yeah.
just going, you need this,
You
and this
need
is what
this,
we're going to do. And it's
exactly.
not a mind thing. You can't think it, you
No.
can't kind of, because if you do, you kind of just go into the masculine, and it doesn't
Mm.
make any sense anyway. So
It doesn't
yeah,
make any sense. And
yeah,
and I always say this is like you can't think your way into your womb.
no,
And the amount of times like early on in my journey, and still even sometimes now I get tricked, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm ready for you, like speak to me, like I'm and my womb's like, no, 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 we don't get in that way. It's like you got to soften, lady, you got to let go, you got to feel, you got to breathe with me. It's not like that you're like ready now, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm ready. It's no, it's
yeah,
nothing to do
yeah.
with that. It's like we have to drop all the way in and all the way down. It's like, yeah, it's so beautiful, and there's so many layers. But I really wanted to ask you, so what you offer is quantum womb healing. And so what does that mean to you? And what is it exactly?
So quantum womb healing. So I've worked as a healer for over 20 years, and I used to be well, I guess still am a Reiki master. I used to attune people and things, and um, just had that was my gift. And in a way, I guess when I kind of went through all my own initiation post my womb awakening, post menopause and stuff, it was like the alchemy of what was sitting in my cauldron kind of really came alive through this sudden, and it was quite sudden. It was like this kind of, like, I get downloads from my womb. Do you get downloads from your womb? And it's just like, woo, and, she's like, she's pinning you down and going, right, this is important, and this is what we need to look at. Oh, it was almost like this kind of download. It was like an upload and a download at the same time. But this womb awakening piece just came through. And it was the whole sort of sequence. And I started trialing out on people, and they were like, oh my God,
Mm,
that birth story that was traumatized me 18 years ago, gone. I just became aware that in a way, something had come through, and that I was holding, it was right time, right place for it to come through, for it to birth
mm,
through. And really, I guess it's a healing piece, and the journey. It's like a quantum womb healing is a journey that I've mapped into womb Ho'oponopono, into fire ceremonies, into um, everything that I do that can be done, all done online through Zoom, but it feels like we're in the same room.
yeah.
The essence of it is that we use the 9 sacred portals of the womb
Hmm.
to journey you in a shamanic journey into your womb space. Then you find what your womb's medicine is for you. So we create a
Mm,
sacred intention,
hmm.
and you come in with your prayer or your intention of what you want to shift. Womb will then say, this is the medicine. This is
Mm,
actually what you need to be encoded with, what you need to embody.
hmm.
And then we kind of, it's almost like a labyrinth journey. So we kind of come in, we spiral in, and then we come out again, then we go back in. And then we find where you are holding any contraction, any dissonance in your body that isn't uh what's the word, isn't harmonic with
Hmm.
that, the gift that your womb wants to give you. So where's the block that's blocking you from embodying that, blocking
Yeah.
you from being that and experiencing that? And we shift that out of your body, and then we encode your whole body and your womb garden with the gift of what your womb gave to you. So it's completely bespoke.
Hmm.
Yours would be
Hmm.
different today as it might be tomorrow, and
Yeah.
also from other sisters, even around the same topic. But so and then I hold space for a healing transmission. So I play some of the tracks from The Sacred Sounds of the Womb by Sarah
Mm,
Nanasra Bertrand, and then
mm,
this ninth, Queen portal by Vaishnavi Brasi, and a wound. And we like just some magic starts to happen. Yeah, it's like through it works through time and space. So and what it does is it just literally it quantum shifts pieces that you've been holding in your womb space, I guess, that maybe you didn't even know were there. Some of them are very ancient and ancestral pieces, but it starts to free up because it's just clearing the debris that's
mhm,
been there, where the blocks are around fertility, around feminine power, around
mhm.
your juiciness, around your intimacy codes, around your creativity codes. Womb holds so much potential, doesn't she? Um, and so it literally just quantum shifts you and clears that in an instant. And then almost like your 3D apparatus starts to catch up as you embody that and start and just things free up. You feel more creative, you feel more spacious, you're having better sex, you're up suddenly pregnant. All kinds of magic things can start
Yeah.
to happen because the healing has happened through the body. And we know that the soma, the body doesn't lie, the body
Mhm,
holds the wisdom.
mhm,
And womb is like HQ of the
mhm,
somatic field. So when we can go straight to womb, we can just weave with whole different templates uh,
mhm.
and possibilities, and that's pretty special. So
Oh my God.
that's
Yeah.
quantum healing in a nutshell.
Oh, I love
And
it.
it's one of those things. I mean, that's me trying to explain it, but it's like it just has to
Yeah,
be experienced
yeah,
and in a way,
absolutely.
just to know that it's not me putting anything in to you or taking anything out. I'm literally just holding space and allowing for your innate primordial wisdom, creativity,
Yeah.
fertility, Shakti, whatever it is that you're seeking. You hold that inside you, and it's clearing the debris that's been blocking that from coming
Mhm,
online. So
mhm,
then when we clear it, it's like that just comes online.
mhm,
It just
mhm.
so it's your self-healing ability comes online. Yeah.
Oh, so powerful. I
Uh-huh.
love it. I absolutely love it. It's just like, yes, yes, yes. And then, so let's go into the nine gateways. Can you talk us through the
Oh,
nine
yeah,
gateways of the
yeah.
womb? And I have to say, like, I wish, oh my goodness, I wish that I had known about Saran when they were holding that training. I would have loved to do it so much, but I only discovered her like after she had stopped doing that.
Yes,
I was
yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
my God, sounds amazing.
Well,
Mm,
it's been incredible to, almost like take those keys and
mhm,
weave with that and take it out to the world,
mm,
and to bring in the four um, seasons of womanhood and the
mhm,
timelines. So to weave with maiden, mother, queen, and crone. And Saren's a dear friend, so we kind of talk about it. And so there was this ancient feminine map that the feminine mystery schools would have used that was about the elements.
mhm,
And so at
mhm,
the base of your womb, you have earth. And if you're
mhm,
sitting up, it's like that's earthing you. That's sort of southbound. So the earth womb is there. Then you've got fire, which is kind of that more Shakti masculine energy on the right side of your womb. The right ovary, the right
mhm,
side of your body is more the masculine, the doing.
mhm,
The left side of the womb, the left ovary is the feminine energetics, and that's the lunar, the water element. That's the feminine, the receiving. The top of the womb is the air, extending
mhm,
out to the
mhm,
celestial realms. And so there was this ancient feminine map. And then what Saren brought through was this royal road into the womb with maiden mother crone.
mhm,
And we were using this map until Lion's Gate, last summer. And womb just was like, when we were in Queen, and it was like, no, we're ripping up the rule book and we are going to rebirth this map to reinstate the Queen. And it was like, almost like
wow.
this sort of watershed time for all of us, actually, because it was a co-creation. It wasn't me going, right, I think this is what we need to do. It was like a holy monkeys, like I actually gotta go back and redo materials and let this land. And we call them womb winks. It was like the universe was just like pulsing these womb winks, almost like all day, about how right this piece was,
Mm.
what was needed. So we reinstated the queen. It was almost like she's always been there, but she'd been so
Yeah.
suppressed. And the queen was about the women, sitting in their thrones, wearing their crowns.
Mhm,
It was the
mhm,
Magdalene piece, this
mhm,
suppressed, lost feminine voice of being in leadership, but without this kind of like warrior, off with their heads sort of scenario.
mhm,
This magnetic, sexy woman who doesn't need the outside validation and who is in her leadership, you know, codes. So we reinstated her. So they became the 9 sacred portals of the womb. And so I could share on the screen. Shall I do that, or do you want me to just talk you through it?
mm.
I don't know if I
Yeah,
can.
Sharon.
Yeah,
Share
let me just,
screen.
because
Let me
that might
see.
be easier, because it's a very visual map that's right, quite easy to
Mhm.
share. So if I share this, can you see that, Chloe? Yeah.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's watermark, but this was created by a beautiful artist, Cara Roxanne, who's local here in Devon. And really, so the ancient womb map is based, well, you could say which is based on what, but in a way, because everything comes from womb, everything has been birthed from the universal womb. The tree of life is based on this. The upper world, the
Mm.
lower world, the Egyptian Ankh is based on this.
Mhm, mhm.
So you have this womb cross here, and this is the royal road into womb. And here are the elements. So you can see there's earth, fire, air, and water.
Yeah.
And then the center of the womb is the cosmic womb. So each of these is a portal that holds shadow and holds gifts. So I'll just
Yeah.
go through them. So
Mhm.
we start with, as Saren used to say, the doorbell is like
Yeah.
the clitoris, and the moon petals to the womb. And this is your maiden, and each of them has a totem and is twinned, so that the clitoris and the moon petals are twinned with the thymus.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
this is about your in her gifts. This is about your openness, your innocence, your renewal, your gentleness, your sensitivity. You can think of maiden as, wonder, taking a risk, going for an adventure. It's sort of like she hasn't had the imprints of the kind of muddy boot treading her down into back in your cave, back in your place kind of thing. So she just goes out there and she does the stuff, and then kind of like wisens up and like, I better go a different route next time I go into the woods. So but we sometimes need to call on our maiden, don't we, with trust, because
mhm,
we can have life experiences that mean that we stop taking risks, or we stop being open to adventure, or we stop
mhm,
trusting. So it's like we need to always keep our maiden, intact and with us, and call on her. And she's particularly, obviously, as more prevalent in that sort of pre-ovulation stage, post-bleed stage of the menstrual cycle. Your inner maiden is there. So she's there, sort of almost like the guardian gateway into the womb. And it's almost like you don't get the gifts really until you can rebirth your womb through that portal of purity, of innocence, and come back into innocence, because the distortions are out there, aren't they, around sexuality so badly, that women think that that's what they need to be and embody in order to have power there. But it's, we've kind of got it a bit skewed. So this is
absolutely.
maiden, and obviously there are shadows there, the maiden who can't fully trust, or the woman who needs to eternally be in the coquettish, flirtatious, teasing maiden, who's never gonna embody the depths of her mother, queen, and crone, and is not able to really sort of come into woman. So this is sort of, yeah, the map of women. So or the shutdown, the inability to trust. So there's your maiden there, and then next we have um the mother lover, and she's the G spot, the
Yeah.
goddess spot, and her gifts are about your sort of juicy pleasure, your
Mhm,
wild sensuality, your confidence, your fertility. And the shadow of that would be that sort of pushing through, needing to be in control, not being able to surrender to
Mm-hmm.
experiencing the pleasure, to experiencing your juiciness, to needing to, yeah, to control, and not being able to open to orgasm in that way. Um, and fertility, just being able to, yeah, surrender to your fertile, ovulation, expansive codes. And then the higher yoni, sorry, and so the mother is twinned with the thyroid,
Mm-hmm.
and each of these have a sound, Chloe, which when we do, guide you in a little journey so you can kind of feel them and experience them. But each of them has a sound, has a particular crystal, has a sound frequency, has a the animal totem. So you can work with them in deeper layers. But it's almost like I feel when you chant into the sacred sounds, into the nine portals of the womb, you start to get activated around these, and the debris that each of them are holding and the shadow and stuff, they start to, yeah, peel
Mm-hmm.
back, and the gifts start to come out through. So you can see, I'll zoom in a bit, you can see the queen here. So this is the lioness, and the queen sits in the higher yoni, and she's twinned with the larynx. So this is very much about the feminine voice, and we know that the jaw is twinned with the pelvis, and the yoni lips with the mouth, and the throat with the yoni. So there's an amazing correlation here. And as a healer, I noticed that most women, there's throat chakra issue, and with men it's heart chakra issue. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this is about our feminine power, our yoni power, our womb power. And the queen, really, her gifts are leadership and sovereignty and courage and strength, and being able to take up space
Yeah.
without needing validation from outside, not in an arrogant way, but more like because she really deeply knows her worth, she values
Mm-hmm.
herself, and she's able to sit in her throne and take up that space. And so the queen, I feel, with the feminine voice, with being able to, yeah, hold her place at the table,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with this hangover of patriarchy that's slowly being dismantled as we see, on earth. It's like, how do we embody our queen without being hard-hearted or without being arrogant, and be able to retain that feminine essence of magnetism and, juiciness and stuff. So there's a beautiful sort of different flavor that comes in with this queen.
Mm-hmm.
And we work with womb, and obviously, in the timelines, you've got, this is maiden 0 to 28, mother is roughly till sort of 45, then queen is till about 65, going through menopause. These are your birthing years in mother, where you're birthing babies or projects. This is your sort of almost like your harvest, going through menopause. And then your crone is your elder years, your sage years, your wisdom keeper years. And then we have this map, as you know, through the menstrual cycle. So this is your pre-bleed, pre-ovulation. This is your ovulation. This is your
Luteal.
premenstrual, and then your menstruation.
Mm-hmm.
And this maps onto the lunar phases. You've got your waxing moon, your full moon, your waning moon, your
Mm-hmm.
your dark moon. So yeah, we take the blueprint from the moon, but there's also maps through the womanhood timeline. So this is what we work with in the apprenticeship. We have 3 months in maiden, 3 months in the spring, 3 months in mother lover in the summer, 3 months in queen in the autumn, and 3 months in crone, and different themes and rites of passage that we're reclaiming. So we move to crone, and there's our beautiful wise owl with some mugwort and wise woman herbs. And this is the cervix. So the cervix is the gatekeeper of the womb, and she's like the cosmic eye. And
Mm-hmm.
she really holds this ancient feminine power. I mean, the queen is about empowerment, but this is like, you're not trying to grab the power or retain the power or embody that. It's like you've got it, and it's just being able to access this ancient feminine power and this ancient feminine wisdom and this ancient feminine magic. It's like she's about
Mm-hmm.
alchemy, she's about transformation, she's about initiation. Um, yeah, she's gonna haul you over the coals if you're not in alignment. She's your alignment manager, but not because she's charging out there. She's just sitting there, just like, knitting,
Yeah.
chuckling as you're scrabbling around trying to do your earth journey.
Yeah.
There's your
I
crow.
I love this, the what you're sharing here as well, because I've had this experience for quite a while now, where I think about like my okay, let me try and explain this. It's almost like, okay, let's say I'm attracted to someone, and it's like my sexual energy is getting all alive and like activated, and she's all kind of like, come hither. And
I love it.
then if I tune in further, my womb is like, no. And so it's like there's a difference between the sexual flirtation and actually what womb wants. And
Yes.
so it doesn't mean that I can't, let's say, have sex with that person, but it means that the womb is like, no, I don't want to conceive with this person, or I don't want to connect in so deeply. And so
Mm,
when I
yeah.
think, when I was first of all exploring like my sexual awakening, um, it was like, oh, it's not just, does my yoni say yes, or does my womb say yes? Because actually, my yoni and my womb could say different things.
Yes. I love it.
It's so nuanced. And so I might be in a situation and I'm like, oh, yeah, that feels really good. And I'm like, wait, hold on, the womb's saying no.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And maybe it's the crone saying, you don't get past me, lady,
Yeah,
or whoever it
exactly.
is, you know, and and in a way, the maiden is about the boundaries, and maybe
Mhm.
she's the almost like you've built the sandcastle and you've got the kind of ramparts and things, and maybe it's the first bit of sand that gets washed over by you know the queen has stronger boundaries, the crone has like,
Mm,
watertight boundaries. And
totally.
we can say yes when we mean no, but our maiden's like, but come on, and then actually, as we go through life, we become a little bit more savvy, don't we? But that can mean
Mhm.
that we harden and we don't sort of open to our maiden who would say yes.
Yes,
So there's
yeah.
all those nuances, as you say.
It's so, yeah, so nuanced. I love it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to
Yeah.
chime in there.
No, I
So
love that. I
continue.
love that. And in a way, what this whole map and this whole focus on womb allows us to uh, really receive and open to, which I feel very much comes through for women. If it hasn't already, it will really come through around perimenopause, around their
Mhm.
queen timelines, is that before, where they might be like, oh, 10 to 2, you'll do, let's get bonking, let's get creating a baby, it's the urge, this actual,
Mhm.
hormone urge to create the baby, to procreate. In a way, when you get to this stage in your womanhood timelines around menopause and your queen codes, it's like, no, no, no. She's like
Mm,
an awakened and shaktied womb is like, there has to be a reverence for this whole space
totally.
as a temple, and for there to be sacred sex and conscious sex and slow
Mhm.
sex, and not
Mhm.
chasing the orgasm, and the
Mhm.
goal orientated. So yeah, it holds that as well, I feel.
Mm.
So just moving to do the four elements briefly. So you've got earth, as I said, is at the base of the womb. You can see this beautiful ox with her rose hips and wise women herbs for yoni steaming and things, and herbal teas. So the earth holds these gifts of roots, safety, um, abundance, nourishment, belonging. And that's a really, yeah, powerful one, I think, for this earth rootedness, rather than, we can all be all in our kind of Dakini energy up here, but actually, when we come into right relationship with Gaia and with our cycles and rituals and things that are all very earth based, it's like this can really sort of land. And the abundance codes, women can be so divorced from their earth rooted abundance, and feeling safe to be in their magic, safe to be a woman. So this is a huge portal for that. Then over here on the right ovary, you've got this beautiful sort of Dakini woman, and she's got a serpent around her her
Mm,
arms. She's holding a sun and she's there dancing with, very Shakti with her flames. And the fire holds the gifts of the sacred masculine. We have the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine within. She holds the sacred masculine, the solar essence, the creativity, the fire, the Shakti, the passion, the desire and the action that you take in your masculine. So then we go up here to the top of the womb, and this is the celestial womb. This connects you with the the frequency settings and the gifts of truth, conception, inspiration, purity, expansion, freedom, and also your connection to your guides and to your
mhm,
angels. So this is the air element at the top of your womb, the celestial womb. And then over here on the left side of your womb, the left ovary, you have the water element, and this holds the gifts of the sacred feminine and the lunar essence. And you can see this beautiful mermaid here. She's actually, you can't see her
mhm.
in too much detail, but she's got an anchor around her neck. Her eyes are closed and she's dreaming. She's sitting on her, on her lunar sort of, time traveling boat. And it's about the allowing and the flowing and the receiving and the dreaming and the feeling, being able to feel your feelings.
Mm,
And in the center, with this sort of sacred union weave of the rose vine between them, is the cosmic womb. And that's where I take people. They go through this journey and then into the cosmic womb to actually really work with the blueprint of the cosmic womb of all creation inside themselves, whether they have a womb or not, and to be able to access their deep sort of, she woman womb medicine voice from within. So this holds the codes of the bliss state, the womb consciousness, the I am consciousness, the love vibration, the gold frequency, sacred union within. So that's where we sort of, we head with this map. So yeah, I'll just stop the share now.
oh my goodness.
So those are the 9 sacred portals in a
Oh
nutshell.
my
But
goodness.
and as it's like they have to be experienced, they have to be activated and cleared. And what we do in the apprenticeship is we actually work, I work in a different way, one to one. We just go in with a certain key theme, whether it's feminine empowerment, fertility, leadership, whatever it might be, or clearing up, some of the trauma, but that you're aware of. But in the apprenticeship, we work with each key theme of these womanhood timelines: maiden, mother, queen, and crone. And
Mm,
we go into birth, menarche, sexuality, relationship, abundance, leadership. We go in at Samhain and we use the Celtic wheel, the Celtic
mm,
festivals, to sort of really harness the kind of activation of these codes as we go through the year. But yeah, Samhain is around sacred vocation, taking back your power from any of that stuff that's keeping you playing small. And then sacred wisdom. We journey with womb grief, working with Gaia codes and with your ancestral lineage. So it's very much for people who work with womb, who hold space already, who are doulas, or
mhm.
maybe who work with women and they just want to get this piece landed for themselves. So
Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. And then so we're fast approaching Imbolc this week. So I mean, Imbolc is all around the new beginnings and rebirth. So what are you holding in
So we've been working in the apprenticeship with Sacred Rebirth,
mhm,
and we basically are reweaving that whole first rite of passage of
mm,
your conception, preconception, conception, gestation, and birth codes. So we meet as a sort of council of womb shamans, and we hold space for a beautiful womb Ho'oponopono where they bring a bowl of water and petals and incense, and they just create this beautiful ritual for themselves. And I'm holding space and journeying them with their ancestors to just release any of those imprints, because we know that 25% of your karmic
yeah.
patterning is formed in that portal of
Mhm,
birth.
mhm,
So we release you from, a lot of those contracts and imprints that form your core wounds, that then
mhm,
form your
mhm,
core beliefs, identity, and patterns that kind of ensue from that. So it's a deep dive, but this is a very yin uh,
mhm,
portal because it's the Earth Festival.
mhm.
When we work with Ostara, it's slightly more yang. It's the
Yeah.
fire energy of equinox, and we're working with menarche, and it's a fire ceremony. But yeah, they'll be doing a fire ceremony, a womb Ho'oponopono ceremony, and they've created their own altars for sacred rebirth. So just tending their little me's and holding in bulk
Mm,
with that, and rebirthing themselves. And maybe they're looking at their own birth story, but they're also looking at what do they want to rebirth in themselves.
yeah.
Is it that they want to rebirth themselves in relationship or in their work
Mhm,
or as a
mhm,
mother or as a
mhm.
partner, or yeah, so rebirthing, or their sexuality, rebirthing those parts of themselves.
Oh my
They get
goodness.
different quantum womb healings that work with the elements each week, and then
Yeah.
they really kind of, go through the multi-layered richness of the program.
Oh
To
my God,
leave
this
no
sounds
stone
so
unturned.
amazing. I like, oh
Yeah,
my God, I'm
it's
like,
good.
sign me up. But I just love everything that you shared there because it's really about empowerment. So it's not like that you've had this birth or this type of conception. It's like, yes, you have, but there's something that we can transform, and like you can take the power back and rebirth yourself into what you want to be or what you want to experience. And like I just moved house a couple of weeks ago, and I was packing up and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't understand why it was so intense. And I had this whole day with this like clump on my head energetically. And I was like, it's like, God, I feel so awful. I don't even like, and I'm like thinking, I'm only packing, like, can't be that bad. And I meet one of my friends who also does womb work, and I happened to mention it to her. And she said, oh, yes, do you know that when you move house, it brings up all of your birth trauma? And so I was born with forceps. I was pulled out with forceps. And so I was physically having the experience, like with this clump on my head.
That really makes so much sense. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I know, it's amazing,
Wow.
isn't it? And so then when she said that to me, then I was like, oh, okay, I can rework this now. And like it like pulled the power back to me. And then the next day I was like, ooh, like spaciousness had been made. And I was like, okay, I can do this job now. But yeah, it's amazing. And we just don't know how much our birth stories are affecting us,
No, no. And
on so many
it's
different
so
levels.
powerful. It's so, so powerful. And the other thing that we do, we'll be doing the following week after Imbolc, but still in that sort of, portal of Imbolc, is we'll create a placenta pouch, which will then
Mm,
fill with, a love letter to your placenta, and, herbs and crystals and things of that hold the meaning of what it is you want to feel at peace with around your birth story, and
mm,
any sense of sadness or disconnect. It's almost like, because placentas were just cast out into sort of
yeah.
hospital bins, rather than allowing them to be brought earthside, and Gaia to
Mm,
feel your DNA and claim you as a daughter, a son, a
mm,
child of earth. We reenact that. So you create this placenta, and then we go, when after the sort of 4 week of the immersion, the 5 weeks actually for rebirth, you do a rebirth journey, and then you go and find somewhere to bury that. And it could be your garden or a sacred tree or a place that you love to visit. And it's like you basically tell Earth, I've landed, I'm
mm,
here. And so that's a
mm.
huge piece. I really recognize that, and what your story, what you're saying, moving house, it's so deeply uprooting, isn't it? And actually what mothers have done is do that for some of their children. If their placenta wasn't honored, they've been able to do
Mm.
that for their children. Either one that had her placenta in the freezer, and she went and did this whole thing with her daughter, and it was just like, her daughter was so empowered by, she was 4, and she was like, I'm going to go and bury my placenta. And she had this whole relationship with it, wrote it a letter and did it retrospectively. But
Oh,
you could also do it, by just creating something with your
mm.
craft.
Oh my goodness, I
Um,
love this. It's so
but
amazing.
Chloe,
Should
shall we
we go into
complete
the,
the
yes,
journey? Yeah,
let's
I'm
go into
aware
the
of
journey.
the time and things. So yeah,
Hmm.
be really lovely. So what I was saying was, um, we can understand these concepts and the map, and they're really helpful. But from my experience, that when we actually embody it, and we have those activations that awaken within our womb space, that's when that's my gift anyway, and that's when the magic starts to happen. Yeah.
Mm. Thank you, Deb.
So if you're watching, listening, just inviting you to maybe press pause while you create a little nest for yourselves, and lie down and get really comfortable, and take a couple of beautiful deep breaths in and out. And as you're breathing, just become conscious of the ebb and flow of the breath. Letting go of the day so far, and the previous night, the week, the month, the year. And as you're breathing, just becoming aware of where you are in your feminine cycles, your inner spring, summer, autumn, winter. And if you don't experience menstrual cycles, becoming aware of the lunar phase, the waxing, the full, the waning, the dark moon, and holding the energetics of the seasons and how you feel in relation to the sap rising, the growth, the expansion, the harvest, the contraction, the decay, the death. And as you breathe now, just bringing your awareness to your lower abdomen, breathing down into your feminine crown, breathing into your pelvis, your sitting bones, your sacrum, your dragon's tail, your coccyx. And start to breathe down consciously into the velvet darkness of your womb space. And visualizing a beautiful crimson beam of light extending down from your yoni, from your root, down through the seat, through the floor, the foundations of the building, and down into the earth. And feel this root merging with the tree roots of the standing ones, receiving their activations, their support, their holding and witnessing. And extending this crimson beam of light further down, 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 all the way down through all the layers of the earth into the core of the earth, into Gaia's womb, and wrapping around Gaia's womb with this beautiful crimson beam of light, and greeting her with her molten rock, her lava, her magma, her liquid iron, and receiving her medicine, her activation for what you need right now to embody on the path of womb awakening and feminine embodiment. And then drawing that medicine all the way up with this beautiful crimson beam of light through all the layers of the earth and back past the tree roots and into your yoni, into your womb. Receive it, feel it, breathe it in, feel yourself deeply rooted, plugged in right relationship from your womb into Gaia's womb. And breathe. And then moving your awareness to the top of your womb, to the celestial womb, and visualizing a beautiful golden beam of light extending up from the top of your womb, out through your crown, beyond, beyond, spiraling up through all the layers of the atmosphere, the stars, the galaxy, the universe, beyond, and feel your multidimensional beingness, your infinite source-coded self coming online as you extend this beautiful golden beam of light to the center of all creation, to the cosmic womb of all creation. And bathing in this voidal darkness of the cosmic womb, and feel her transmission, her activation of all that you are dreaming into being. as a being of earth, in this body, on this path, in this lifetime. And then drawing that energy all the way back down from the cosmic womb, down, through time and space, all the way back down in this beautiful golden beam of light, in through your crown, all the way down your spine and back inside your womb. And breathe it in. Receive it. Beautiful. And then bringing your awareness now to your yoni, lips and clitoris, your maiden portal, and the gifts of your maiden: sensitivity, innocence, softness, gentleness. Breathing into your maiden portal and chanting with me the sacred sound E-U-E to activate these gifts. Inhale. And then bring your awareness inside your yoni to your G-spot, your mother lover, and the gifts of your juiciness, your pleasure, your fertility, your confidence, your wild sensuality, and chanting the sacred sound Una to activate these gifts inside you. Inhale. Una. 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 Beautiful. And then bringing your awareness to your higher yoni, your queen, and the gifts of sovereignty, leadership, courage, your inner Magdalene, your feminine voice, your ability to take up space, sit in your throne, wear your crown. And chanting the sacred sound Awun to activate your queen gifts. Inhale. Awun. Awun. Breathe. And then bringing your awareness to your cervix, to your crone, and the gifts of ancient wisdom, feminine magic, alchemy, transformation, initiation. Breathing into your cervix and chanting the sacred sound Shukara to activate these gifts. Inhale. Shukara, Shukara, Shukara. Beautiful. Bringing your awareness now beyond the gatekeeper of your womb to the base of your womb in the earth element, and the gifts of safety, roots, security, nourishment, foundations, belonging, and abundance. And activating these gifts as you chant the sacred sound Aduma. Inhale. Aduma. 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 Beautiful. Then bring your awareness to the right side of your womb and the right ovary, and the gifts of the fire element, your sacred masculine, the solar essence, Shakti, desire, passion, action, warmth, creativity. Breathing into your right ovary and chanting the sacred sound, Hera Hom. Inhale. Hera Hom. Hera Hom. Hera Hom. Beautiful. Bringing your awareness to the top of your womb, to the celestial womb, the element of air, the gifts of purity, truth, inspiration, conception, your connection to your guides and your angels, expansion, freedom. Breathing into the top of your womb and chanting the sacred sound Elura to activate these gifts. Inhale. Elura. 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 Beautiful. Bringing your awareness to the left side of your womb and the left ovary, and the gifts of the water element, the sacred feminine, the lunar essence, your feelings, needs, intuition, dreams, the gifts of allowing, flowing, receiving. Breathing into your left ovary and chanting the sacred sound Wa Luna to activate these gifts. Inhale. Wa Luna. Wa Luna. Wa Luna. Beautiful. And then bringing your awareness finally into the center of your womb, into the cosmic womb, where you hold the gifts of the oneness, the bliss, the blueprint of the creative cosmic codes of all creation, sacred union, the gold frequency, the love vibration. Breathing into the center of your womb and visualize a beautiful cosmic rose in the center of your womb. See this rose opening her petals in cosmic rays of light, and feel yourself sitting inside the center of this rose. Here you are, goddess. You are sovereign queen. You are sitting inside your sacred womanhood womb temple. And as you sit inside this temple, chanting the sacred sound Om to activate the cosmic womb gifts, inhale. Om. And just receiving any medicine that your womb wishes to share with you. Through your senses. It could be words, colors, feelings. then just bringing yourself back into the space. And take a breath. Beautiful.
Mm.
Welcome back.
Oh my gosh. That feels so incredible.
Mm.
Oh, I'm still in. It's just like, oh, it's nectar. Mm.
From that place, I would normally then take you on another sort of deeper layer down and into your womb.
Mm-hmm.
I realized we needed to stop there. So
And that was the
we trust that people
perfect
got what they
place to,
needed. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They got the 9 sacred portals of the womb. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Debs. This has just been
Oh,
such a joy. Oh,
pleasure. Real
thank
pleasure.
thank you for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your energy, your beauty, your radiance. So
Oh,
thank you, thank you,
thank
thank
you,
you.
Chloe. It's been so gorgeous
And
to share.
and if women are listening to this and they want to work with you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, so the best way, I love this expression that Instagram is for dreamers. So I'm on Instagram as Deva Pathways,
Yeah.
and I kind of through that platform, but also from my website, which is devapathways.com. If you go on my website, there's actually this guided journey into your womb. You can download it and receive it, and sort of and have that as a free offering, and you'll get onto my mailing list. And then about every 6 weeks with these Celtic festivals, I offer a womb activation. So they're
Mm,
themed around this, the timelines as you go through the Celtic wheel and use and having mapped the map of woman onto the Celtic wheel. So we work with Maiden. So the activation for Maiden for your rebirth codes was a couple of weeks ago. The next one will be about Menarche. The
mhm,
one after that, sacred sexuality, relationship, abundance. So they kind of go through the wheel, and these are womb activations. And so you can come and join us on a live call there and really sort of get a taste for this
mm,
medicine. And then if you want to, you can also opt in to receive the recording of the Council of Womb Shamans, where we do the deeper dive ceremony.
mhm,
So you can do the fire ceremony or the womb Ho'oponopono. You get all the instructions, and you get it, you receive it in that portal of the Celtic festival. So it's almost like the womb activation it is an activation. It primes your womb, and it's like the microcosm, and then we do the macrocosm, where we kind of look at that thread within the context of the ancestral piece, the collective piece. So it's almost like we open up a portal. It's super
mm,
powerful. So there are ways that you can journey with me. In March, in fact, you're the first person I've told about this.
yeah.
It hasn't been public yet, but in March, I'm going to be launching The Art of Womb Awakening, which is a 6 month self
Yeah.
paced journey. So you
Mm,
have my 6 key signature quantum womb healings. And one gets released each month, and you bring your sacred intention to it, whether that's
mm,
birth, leadership, fertility, intimacy, whatever it is, feminine empowerment. You would bring your intention, and you do the journey over 6 months, and there'll be some live element where you get to be with me, and I'll guide you into your womb, and you can just receive a bit more interaction. But that's going to be a guided journey. Um, there's also a 6 month program that I have that has sort of 2 layers on it of involvement, but where we meet once a week, and you get once a month rather, and you get a quantum womb healing to deep dive into a key aspect that you want to work with. So that's ongoing as an offering. And then twice a year we launch the apprenticeship. So this is my sort of signature flagship program, and we've just launched you could still join. Someone just joined today actually, but
wow.
that might be a bit hectic. But yeah, we've just launched the Northern Hemisphere in Maiden in
Mhm,
January. Then in July, late July, we'll be launching the Southern Hemisphere. So they will journey with their Maiden, their Imbolc, coming up in August, and they will be doing their weave concurrently in the Southern Hemisphere. So there's the apprenticeship, the one-to-ones, and then
mhm.
these activations. I'm also will be holding, free womb awakening masterclasses, so people
Yeah.
can really kind of just get to understand deeper layers of this, and we'll pick certain themes. And then always at the beginning of the year in January, we do the voice of the womb, where we just take the sort of 3 key themes of love, relationship, and wealth, and we almost use your womb as an oracle to be able to receive your map for that coming year. So that's something that people love to come back for.
Oh, this sounds amazing. so many ways to work with you. I love it. I'm literally like, sign me up for everything. It sounds so
Yeah, that's it.
good.
And it's very much for, the womb activations are for anyone who's like, okay, I
Mhm.
realize there's a piece there around womb and I haven't touched it or been there. And you can even be that person who joins the apprenticeship, but I'd say the apprenticeship is often for people who like already working with womb. We've got a womb
Mhm.
astrologer, a woman who's doing EFT and combining that with the menstrual cycles,
Wow,
a
amazing.
pelvic steam practitioner, a woman who specializes in fertility, or a mum who wants to bring this to her daughter. And through the activation that happens in the apprenticeship, she's suddenly stepping into leadership and she's holding space for circles. So all sorts of things start to get birthed from that space.
Mm. Wow, amazing.
Amazing. So,
Oh,
Chloe,
thank
it's
you
such a
so much.
pleasure. I've
Oh, it was
loved it.
such a joy.
Big
Sending you
blessings. And I'll
so
come and see you in Glastonbury. I'm due to come. Oh, and there's a retreat. There's also a womb activation. Sorry, a womb shaman embodiment retreat I'm holding between the 19th of May and the 29th of May. So it's going to be all
Ooh.
bells and whistles with some sacred
Ooh.
pauses just outside Glastonbury at Little Earth. So
Oh,
keep
oh
your
my
eyes peeled.
gosh.
Launching that
Okay,
later on
amazing.
this week and on the website.
So exciting.
I have to
Okay,
come and see
thank you
you.
so much,
Okay.
Deb.
Loads of love. Take care, my love.